You know, honorable colleagues, procedure should be with how the business is moving in the house. And through debate, that's when we settle such a question is honorable. There are those who are saying the economy is moving well, and it's doing well. Maybe if you didn't watch Honorable Kasaija showing you know, then there are those who are saying it's not moving well. So that's a subject of debate, and I think we shall debate it. And Honorable Taylor, you seem,
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. As a procedural issue, the Leader of Opposition made an assertion on the floor in the report that there are individual government officials who put project money on their personal bank accounts for gain. I expected procedurally the Minister of Finance to respond particularly to that issue. Wouldn't it be procedurally right if he responded to it before the debate?
Thank you. Honourable Minister, you can respond to that on Tuesday, okay? As we start debate on Tuesday. Next item.
Item 6.
Yeah.
Statement.
I hope you've taken note of that. Yeah, that's a quick question. Yeah.
Item 6. Statement by the Right Honourable Prime Minister on government business for the succeeding week, 13th to 15th August 2024, pursuant to Rule 28 of the Rules of Procedure.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, I move under Rule 28 of our Rules of Procedure to submit the following government businesses for the succeeding week from 13th to 15th August 2024. The Minister of Energy and Mineral Development will present the following statements. 1. A comprehensive update on the progress of the electricity scale-up project funded by World Bank and the other electrification projects financed by the Trade and Investment Bank, East Africa, TIBEA, and the China Exim Bank. She will give an update to the House on the status of the electricity connectivity in the country. Secondly, Right Honourable Speaker, the statement will be provided by the Minister of Health on the outbreak of the monkeypox disease in the country. The statement by the Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries on the outbreak of chicken diseases in Masaka district. A statement will be by the Minister of Works and Transport on the closure of the Karuma Bridge to heavy traffic. Lastly, the Minister of Internal Affairs will give a statement on the renewal of the national identity cards. Honourable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you, Right Honourable Prime Minister. Next item.
Item 7, Prime Minister's time.
Right Honourable Prime Minister. Switch on.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, I got a written question from Honourable Okuro Abuka, Member of Parliament Ramo, that the district councillors are hard pressed by non-payment of their ex-gracias and allowances since 2021, 2022, despite their vigorous follow-ups within the districts, as well as a visit of their representatives to the Ministry of Local Government in Kampala. Her prayer is that can government open up the bottleneck, post appropriation of funds, so that the overpatient and hard-working councillors receive their funds. Honorable Speaker, my response is that ex gratia. This is an appreciation paid once a year to village and parish chairpersons. Each chairperson at village and parish level is paid 120,000 annually. It is paid in the last quarter of the financial year. Since Uganda shillings 120 is below the taxable bracket, it is not taxed. These funds are part of the city division municipal approved budget. Then number 2, honoraria. Honorable Speaker, in the financial year 2017-2018, government resolved to pay honoraria of Uganda shillings 35,000 per councillor at the sub-county level and town council level, division level in the whole country. This category of leaders had all along been left out, yet their counterparts at village and parish level had been receiving some pay. Question number 3, allowances paid to district and municipal councillors. Right, Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, due to meager resources in local governments, government decided to pay district and municipal councillors that are not members of the district executive committee an amount to 250 per month, tax inclusive. Right, Honorable Speaker, the salaried leaders, government over 15 years ago resolved to pay salaries to executive members of the district committee, speaker of districts, chairpersons of sub-counties, town councils, and divisions as follows. The district chairperson is paid 2 million per month, tax inclusive. The district vice chairperson is paid 1 million per month, tax inclusive. The district speaker is also paid 600,000 per month, including tax. A member of the executive committee is paid Uganda shillings 500 per month, tax inclusive. Sub-county, town council, and division chairpersons are paid 300 per month, tax inclusive. Number 5, these are other emoluments. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, there are other leaders at the district, city, municipal level who are not paid salaries. These leaders are paid allowances as follows. The district deputy speaker is paid 400,000 per month, tax inclusive. The municipal speaker is paid 400,000, and the municipality deputy speaker is paid 300,000. Arrears accruing from non-payment of ex gratia and honoraria. These arrears arose due to the fact that the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development continued to provide IPFs of the councils ending in the financial year 2020-2021, despite changes in the number of political leaders in the political term commencing in the financial year 2021-2022. These arrears accumulated to a total of 9.9 billion for all local governments, including Ramo district. A supplementary request for these arrears was submitted to the Ministry of Finance on 14th August 2023, and the remainder on January 5th, 2024. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has advised that the arrears will be cleared after verification by the Office of the Auditor General. Number 7, for Ramo district councillors. Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, in regard to Ramo district, in the financial year 2021-22, 22-23-24, there was inadequate budget provision to cater for all the political leaders causing a shortfall of 298 to 274 okay, 298,274,000. With my support, the Ministry of Local Government, we shall continue engaging the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, and this matter will be resolved. Question number 2, Honorable Joke Andrew, Member of Parliament or more. His prayer is that what are government plans for the upgrade of health center force to hospitals in districts that do not have hospitals. Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, there are currently 47 public general hospitals under the district local governments across the country. 16 regional referral hospitals, 5 national referral hospitals, all in Kampala, and 4 specialized national hospitals. I have provided a list of public hospitals in Annex 1A and Annex 1B, the list of specialized and national regional referral hospitals. Government acknowledges that under the 21 Presidential Strategic Guidelines and Directives of 2016, the health sector was directed that each district should have a general hospital, which implies that now there are 82 districts without a public hospital. The estimated cost for construction and equipping of a general hospital is approximately 70 billion Uganda shillings. To fully operationalize a general hospital will require a recurrent cost including wage, non-wage, recurrent medicine and health supplies estimated at 12 billion 238 million per annum. You can have a look at it at this because we have annexed it as Annex 2A. Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, government plans to upgrade health center 4s to general hospitals in a phased manner, starting with districts with relatively high population or deserve special attention because of their geographical location, like islands, highways, to mention but a few. On the other hand, government's current priority is to achieve universal health coverage by increasing access to primary health care services at health center 3s and 4s, where the majority of the population access services. Since the financial year 2018-2019, a total of 340 health center 2s have been upgraded to health center 3 under the Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfer Program, and 41 health center 2s upgraded to health center 3s under the AMCHI program. Currently, 1,696 out of 2,184, that's translating into 78%, sub-counties and town councils have health center 3s. Construction of 31 more new health center 3s is ongoing under the U-Gift program and will be completed in the year 2024-2025, this financial year. Ministry of Health requires additional resources to establish health center 3s in the remaining 488 sub-counties. The estimated cost for construction and equipping each health center 3 is approximately Uganda shillings 8.257 billion. The total amount for 488 health center 3s is Uganda shillings 4.29 trillion. 4.029 trillion. That, Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, government is strategically shifting from facility-based health services to strengthening the community health program for the health promotion, education, and disease prevention. As you all know that 75% of the diseases in Uganda are preventable. This will reduce on the demand for curative services at health centers and hospitals. Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the Ministry of Health Draft National Health Policy 2024 has introduced a reform of upgrading the status of health center force, that is 24 bed capacity, to community hospital 60 bed capacity. This will be undertaken in a phased manner, prioritizing existing health center force with high catchment population and the 135 constituencies without health center force based on geographical access, population coverage, and resource availability. The estimated cost for construction of a community hospital is at Uganda shillings 12 billion, and equipping it at 4 billion. A total of 16 billion is required. To fully operationalize a community hospital, we require a recurrent cost, including wage, non-wage, recurrent, medicine, and health supplies, estimated at 4 billion per annum, as I already told you. Number 3, Honorable Jock Andrew Oranya, Member of Parliament, Omoro County. His prayer is, malaria is one of the top killers in northern Uganda and Uganda in general. What are government plans for curbing and eventually eradicating this preventable disease? Right, Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, my response is that Uganda is indeed highly endemic for malaria. And globally, Uganda ranks 3rd in the global malaria burden and 8th in reported malaria-related and reported deaths. Uganda is a very fertile ground for malaria. We lie along the equator. This provides the most favorable ambient temperature and humidity that support mosquito breeding and malaria transmission. Additionally, the abundant breeding sites due to high rainfall lead to a high density of vectors. The presence of efficient vectors, mixed parasite species, and large parasite reservoirs all work against us. The regions with traditionally high transmission are West Nile, Acholi, Lango, Teso Busoga, and Bukedi. It is these places where we see the most malaria cases and deaths. However, it is important to note that in these high transmission settings, because of the immunity due to persistent malaria exposure, severe malaria cases should be lower than in other parts of the country with lower transmission. Severe malaria that can potentially lead to death results from delays in care seeking. Right, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, we also have challenges with the use of preventive tools by the population. Our main preventive tool is the treated mosquito net. We distributed 28 million nets in 2023. However, the Demographic Health Survey report of 2024 indicates that though the net coverage is more than 95%, net use by the population is only approximately 60%. However, I would like to reassure everyone that there is progress being made. As of this year, the malaria cases seen are lower than for the last 3 years. That is 2021, 2022, and 2023. The Ministry of Health and National Malaria Elimination Division have prioritized the following to address the malaria problem. 1. zero deaths. 2, reduction of malaria cases through provision of preventive measures along, for example, long-lasting treated mosquito nets through mass campaigns and routine distribution of ANC clinics and schools, sensitizing the communities about the net use, repair, and repurposing. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, community surveillance and accountability to ensure all malaria testing and treatment commodities are available across the country and at all times. This involves proper commodity quantification, requisition, delivery by national medical stores, and ensuring all commodities delivered are properly used and accounted for. Number 4, integrated community case management. This focuses on children under 5 years who are most vulnerable to malaria and its complications, including death. This approach takes malaria services next to the children and ensures the VHTs can test and treat the children from within their villages. In this way, children will receive the earliest testing and treatment for malaria. When malaria is treated early and properly, there is no way it can turn into severe malaria. Number 5, decentralization. That Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, this is to ensure the local governments and health facilities take charge of the malaria fight at their respective locations. We are empowering the decentralized governments with all the knowledge and skills to be able to handle the malaria fight. Number 6, data use for decision making. The fight against malaria is closely tied to data. Data about the cases, where they come from, and who is most affected. Data on commodities for testing and treatment. Data on local mosquito population. Data on availability and use of malaria preventive tools like nets, etc. We are also empowering the districts with all the skills for data use so that decisions on malaria are based on locally generated data. That Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, Government of Uganda is finally responding to the malaria situation in the country by developing a Uganda malaria elimination strategy. This is going to be an all-government or multi-sectoral strategy to address malaria in the country. This is ambitious approach. This is an ambitious approach, knowing how highly endemic Uganda is. I call upon all of us, honorable members and Right Honorable Speaker, to support government's plan, including mobilizing the communities to take up and use preventive tools, seek early testing and treatment whenever they feel sick, and most importantly, when diagnosed with malaria, to take the full doses of malaria as advised by the medical personnel. Question number 4, from Honorable Jock Andrew, Member of Parliament, Omoro District. His prayer is that what are government plans to support new administrative units with offices and council halls. That Honorable Speaker and honorable members, my response is that over time government has approved requests for alteration of boundaries of a number of administrative units, resulting into creation of 385 sub-counties and 355 town councils, totaling to 740 administrative units. Out of the 740 administrative units, 327 require office blocks, requiring Uganda shillings 36.62 billion to construct office blocks for all the administrative units. The sub-county office blocks are designed to accommodate the office of the chairman LC3 and his secretary, the office of the sub-county chief, an accounts officer, law enforcement officer, a strong room, a reception area, and a council hall. The government plans to construct these office blocks in a phased manner over 2 financial years, starting in the financial year 2025-2026, as you all know. In the meantime, the administrative units will continue sharing existing parent facilities. Honorable Kakembo Michael, Member of Parliament, Entebbe Municipality.
Procedure. Mr. Speaker.
Is there a correction?
Yes, the question she has just read should be without offices, but you read with offices and the record should be corrected. The question from Andrew, the one you have just answered.
The question from Andrew, Honorable Andrew Alanya.
Yes.
I think also since, Right Honorable, maybe to make it very easy for the Hansard and clerk, since the statement also is uploaded, let the Hansard capture it because you're reading it verbatim.
Yes.
Yes, let it be captured the way it is.
Thank you so much. The Honorable Kakembo is talking about new cities. That new cities were created and approved by the 10th Parliament, and that there is need to operationalize these cities to enable us prepare for the forthcoming general elections and demarcation of constituencies. Is asking when will we operationalize Entebbe City? My response, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, that government in April 2020 created 15 cities in Uganda to be operationalized in a phased manner. The 10 cities of Arua, Mbarara, Gulu, Jinja, Fort Portal, Mbale, Masaka, Hoima, Lira, and the Soroti took effect on 1st July 2020. And these were to be followed by 5 cities of Entebbe, Moroto, Nakasongola, Kabale, and Wakiso, meant to be operationalized as follows. In 1st July 2022, it was supposed to be Entebbe City. 1st July 2023, it was supposed to be Moroto, Nakasongola, Kabale, and Wakiso cities. However, in August 2022, in August 2020, the Local Government Act Cap 138 was amended, and mid-term operationalization of administrative units and local governments abolished. The newly created administrative units and local governments can only take effect 6 months before the general elections. And this amendment affected the next phase of the 5 cities. The Minister of Local Government is currently carrying out the technical studies and consultations with stakeholders in the 5 cities to prepare them for the operationalization of 1st July 2025, subject to the guidance by Cabinet. Question number 6, Honorable Joko Still, Member of Parliament Omoro. And his prayer is, what is the status of government intervention in rationalization of traditional justice law to address the question of war repatriations in Acholi sub-region? My response, Right Honorable Speaker, is that on June 17, 2019, Cabinet under Minute 239 CT 2019 and Cabinet Memorandum CT 2018-38 approved the National Transition Justice Policy as follows. A. The Cabinet noted the key aspects of the National Transition Justice Policy. Approved the National Transition Justice Policy. And C, approved the wide dissemination and publication of the National Transitional Justice Policy. D, approved the fast tracking of the registration on the National Transitional Justice Policy. Then E, directed the Ministers of Internal Affairs and Justice and Constitutional Affairs to provide a transitional period between the implementation of the National Transitional Justice Policy and the enactment of the relevant laws on the transitional justice to give government ample time to identify the most sustainable source of funding for the undertaking. The National Transition Justice Policy is an overreaching framework of government of Uganda designed to address peace, justice, accountability, and reconciliation needs of post-conflict in Uganda. Honorable Speaker, it is therefore seeking to engage with all parts of the country that have been affected by civil strife, conflict, and not only the Acholi sub-region. Since the approval of the policy, it has been disseminated and efforts are being undertaken to present principles for a proposed transitional justice law. It should be noted that the principles for the policy were withdrawn from Cabinet in 2023 to enable the responsible ministries harmonize certain issues, including administrative arrangements for the law. Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, the key policy proposals which are envisaged in if Cabinet approves the principles for a transition justice law are: A, formal justice. Government shall ensure witnesses are protected and victims participate in proceedings, and to the extent possible, remove barriers for access to justice by victims, especially the vulnerable. B, traditional justice. Government recognizes traditional justice mechanisms as a tool for conflict resolution. Then C, national building and reconciliation. Honorable Speaker, government shall establish and resource national building and reconciliation processes. D, repatriations. Honorable Speaker, government shall establish and implement a repatriation program for victims affected by conflict. Then E, amnesty. There shall be no blanket amnesty, and government shall encourage those Thank you. Thank you so much. Government, there shall be no blanket amnesty, and government shall encourage those amnested to participate in truth-seeking and traditional justice processes. Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the objective of the policy include the following. 1, to address the gap in the formal justice systems for post-conflict situations. Then 2, to formalize the use of traditional justice mechanisms in the post-conflict situations. Then 3, to facilitate the reconciliation and national building. Then 4, to address the gaps in the current amnesty processes. Then 5, to provide preparations for the post-conflict situations. Right, Honorable Speaker, the expected outcomes of the policy include the following: restoration of trust between government and the communities. 2, sustainable peace, nation building, and reconciliation. Then 3, enhanced victim participation and witness protection. Then 4, traditional justice mechanism formalized. Then 5, a civil and socio-economic empowerment of war victims and communities. Rehabilitation of reintegration of the affected persons enhanced. Gaps in the amnesty process addressed. Question number 7 is from Agnes Achibu District, Achibu, Woman MP Nebi. that she has an issue of concern about maternity ward that was built in Usi Parish in Palombo sub-county. The work for this maternity ward was given to the UPDF Engineers Brigade, and the project was supposed to have been completed in 3 years. It was supposed to be done in 3 phases from financial year 2021-2022 to financial year 2023-2024. Her prayer, the UPDF Engineers Brigade should speed up the process because they are still at the slabbing level. That Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, my response is that the funds for the last phase of the construction for the maternity in Palombo sub-county was released late and only received by UPDF on 24th July 2024. UPDF is on site, and the plan is to ensure that the works are completed in a short time to enable the facility be used. The works are scheduled to be completed by 30th December this year. Her prayer number 2, engineering brigade should do the fencing of Jupanziri Health Center 3 because the money was also paid. Honorable Speaker, the fencing of that health center shall be complete before 30th December 2024. Of course, there were delays in the mobilizing and manufactured materials due to distance. Number 8, a question is from Akugizibwe Alid, Member of Parliament, Bururi County, Masindi District. Says that Kimengo and Kijunjubwa are 2 sub-counties that are water stressed and yet have a very high population that is highly productive in both crop and animal husbandry. The efforts to serve the citizens in these 2 sub-counties with clean, safe, and affordable water have been proven extremely difficult. Efforts by the District Water Office and development partners to supply water from hand pumps and mini water systems has proved fertile because due to extremely low water tables in the 2 sub-counties. Kimengo sub-county, according to him, is located 26 kilometers from the National Water and Sewerage Treatment Plant at Kiyanja along Kampala Road. And he believes that water can be supplied to the Kimengo community from the water treatment plant. Kijunjubwa sub-county is located approximately 32 kilometers along Masindi Nakaseke Road, with the nearest water point 25 kilometers away. They also look at exploring the possibility of water supply from National Water and Sewerage Corporation to this community. Currently, these 2 sub-counties are located outside the National Water and Sewerage Corporation area of jurisdiction. The Ministry of Water and Environment, according to him, allows National Water and Sewerage Corporation to extend up to these sub-counties and provide the required resources so that the water is availed to these areas as soon as possible. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, we acknowledge the challenges of providing safe water for the 2 sub-counties of Kimengo and Kijunjubwa in Masindi District. Kijunjubwa sub-county has a total number of 22 villages without safe water in Kijunjubwa Parish, while Kimengo sub-county has a total of 7 villages in Chibanja and Kimengo parishes without safe water. The Ministry of Water and Environment is exploring advanced techniques of carrying out groundwater investigations to enable funding of more sustainable areas for groundwater development to address the challenges related to groundwater availability in water-stressed areas of Kimengo and Kijunjubwa. Once the options of using groundwater is exhausted, the Ministry will explore the option of developing safe surface water sources from River Kafu and its boundary, Kizi, to serve Kemengo and Kijunjubwa sub-counties, respectively. These rivers are located within 10 and 8 kilometers from the respective sub-counties of Kimengo and Kijunjubwa as a more sustainable source of water for these sub-counties of concern. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I beg to submit.
Thank you, Right Honorable Prime Minister. We shall use 30 minutes, Honorable colleagues. Only 1 minute question, 1 minute for an answer. Honorable Segona, Honorable Edekas, Honorable Ndiwara na Christine, Honorable Rugumayo, Honorable Auma, and Honorable Lamaka Magwe to begin with.
I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, and also to thank my sister, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, for the manner she has presented the issues. I did seek your guidance on a very, very important matter, and you advised me that since the Prime Minister will be in Parliament today, she would be in a position to answer a matter relating to security after the closure of several police posts across the country, on the understanding that small posts were not viable. We have witnessed an increase or a surge in criminality leading to deaths across the country, especially the resurgence of killing of border riders. Case in point is what befell us last Friday in Nanziga Ward, in Sanji Town Council, where one Lasto Chigos was killed, and he was the 4th person in a space of 3 months in the same spot, following the removal of the nearest police post. And the next police post is 7 kilometers away. Considering the population in Wachiso, would the Prime Minister advise if there could be special measures for providing security to those places that have been abandoned? And also considering that a number of people have been evicted from wetlands, others from the streets of Kampala. I personally had an attack last night at my house, even when we have a police in 1 kilometer's radius. Are there measures, Right Honorable Prime Minister?
Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the President of the Republic of Uganda took note of these rampant incidents of insecurity across the country, not only in his constituency, and directed me to coordinate the ministries responsible to make sure that we have a police post in every sub-county and division in case of municipals. And so it is work in progress.
Thank you. Honorable Edakas, I'm sure Honorable Segona will share more with the Prime Minister from here. Honorable Edakas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I would like to bring to your attention and the attention of the Prime Minister that government has put a lot of efforts to connect Kaberemaido. And this house, as you know, Mr. Speaker, passed a loan for the road from Katine to Ochero, but also there has been a lot of progress on works for the ferry for Bukungu, Kagwara, and Kaberemaido. And that has brought a lot of hope to the people. However, since December, the contractor who has been working on the docking side of Kaberemaido left that site. And I'm told that the works is accomplished for the landing dock is only about 30%. Yesterday, there were several pictures circulating on the social media about the tests for the vessel that's going to ply that particular route. And a lot of people from my constituency have been calling, asking what is going to happen when their docking site is not yet prepared. Relatedly, is the access road.
What's the question, Honorable?
My question is, what is happening? Why did the contractor leave the site? And what is the hope now that the vessels are ready and the people of Cabramaidor are excited about what government is doing?
Right, Honorable. Colleagues, can we use, I wanted us to use 30 minutes. I picked 15 questions so that I got other items. Yeah.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the Ministry of Works and Transport will go to Kaberamaido to make sure that, one, the work is complete so that the communities can use the facilities by government.
Dr. Christine Duarano?
Thank you, Right
There is
Honorable
no
Speaker.
procedure here at this time.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right to Honorable Minister, before I proceed, I want to remind you that you have not answered my question for the last Thursday. Right to Honorable Minister, today, Prime Minister.
The one of prostitutes and coffee. Yes.
Today,
Doctor.
the concern I have is about the natural disaster which occurred in my constituency due to heavy rainfalls. Right Honorable Minister.
Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, yes. Over 12 households were affected and they were damaged seriously and they collapsed. The residents are left in a state of quagmire and they are wondering what is going to be done next. This is the fourth time we are having the same problem, but last time we were...
Honorable, we've gone into many stories. Go on to the question. Switch on and ask the question.
Last time we got rotten maize flour. So now the question is, how can we get at least iron sheets and food for the people who are affected? Thank you.
Right Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Namuga wants chicken also.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I request the Honorable Member to use the District Disaster Committee to submit a report so that the Office of the Prime Minister can act accordingly.
Honorable Rugumayo.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, the local district where I have many young people that I represent here recently experienced very devastating floods when River Semlik burst its banks, causing flash floods in 3 sub-counties, Bweramule, Rebsengo, and Butungama. This is in addition to the 90% already submerged Kanara sub-county. The situation is even made dire. Yesterday, media covered pupils taking mock exams in flooded schools. Right Honorable Prime Minister, I want to know, is the government aware of this situation? And what measures are being taken for government to ensure that livelihoods of people are safeguarded, that students can continue to study?
Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, we have always acted when it comes to floods in Ntoroko district. I think what we shall do now is to request the Honorable Member to get us a disaster preparedness committee, a report from the disaster committee of the district. Then 2, we shall also organize a meeting with the leaders of Ntoroko down on ground so that we can come up with a lasting solution, because this district has truly suffered because of floods.
Honorable Helen Nauma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Through right, Honorable Prime Minister, why is the government not according Busia Seed Secondary School after several pledges by the President and a follow-up by the district? Right, Honorable Prime Minister, I have detailed information with me here. Right, Honorable Speaker, allow me table the information for the Prime Minister. So I have the information with me here. Allow me table it for
Please
her.
just say what you want to say, Honorable colleague. It's a question.
My
time,
question
not-
is, why is the government not coding the Busia Secondary Busia Seed Secondary School?
Right, Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, I'm part of Busia, having stayed there for close to 10 years as an RDC. So I request the member to avail those documents she's talking about so that we can help Busia.
Thank you. Honorable Ramaka Magot.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Prime Minister, last month, Ministry of Finance released funds to all entities, and my district, Kitgum, received only 19 billion shillings for, instead of 22 billion shillings for wages. And I was informed by my cow that the money is only going to pay this month, last month and next month, and what is going to happen to the civil servants, especially the teachers and else workers, to avoid demonstration. On the same line, UBOS did the census very well, but my LC1s, LC2, and all the stakeholders were not paid except the numerators and service providers. What can the people of Kitgum district do to get the money which is supposed to be got? Unlike
Right, Honorable Prime Minister.
I believe now we have the Minister of Finance. Can I seek?
Right, Honorable. I'll be making it easy for you some of the questions. Get the relevant minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, we did a payroll audit last year, and we validated all our civil servants in the country. However, there are cases where the districts, especially in the districts, where the verified numbers are less than the numbers the district claim to have. And as a result of that, the districts have accumulated arrears, which we strongly contest, and we have advised that a re-verification be made before we can give them additional wage. And I want to invite you to, if you can send me that cow next week, we can discuss the matter and be able to agree with him on the next steps. Otherwise, Right Honorable Speaker, we cannot fail to pay for the staff in the post.
Honorable Norman Zochero.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance. The Right Honorable Prime Minister, I wrote my question 2 weeks ago. Last Thursday, it failed to appear. They told me today it will come. No wonder it is not there. Now that I'm here, I wanted to, my questions are, one, like any other district in this country, my constituency suffered grave losses in the hands of insecurity agents. One, between 1966 to 1970, we lost 1,566 people. Right, Honorable Speaker. In the hands of government militia. Prime Minister, we lost 1,984 people by Kwanji rebels. I am giving my question. Why ordering me to ask the question or what?
Now, Honorable Norman, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Here you don't respond to people off record.
Thank you very much.
On the microphone and.
Thank you very much.
No?
Right, Honorable Speaker, between 1996 to 1970 also, 4,200 movable property like bicycles.
Can I make a request?
Yes, please.
Right, Honorable Prime Minister, can you confirm that on Thursday you will answer the question of Honorable Norman Ochero? Because it's a long question.
Yes, it is really long.
Right, Honorable Speaker, the procedure of having the questions come to me is that members write the question, they go to the clerk. I have no control of which questions come to my office.
I will ensure this one comes. Honorable Atkins, then Honorable Christine.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I understand that we have 1 minute in the interest of time. Madam Prime Minister, Kasese people were promised clean and safe drinking water by the president. That was April 29, 2019. The water is still been waiting for. They were also promised power by the same president, 2019. We're waiting for the power. And very finally, they need water for production. Madam Prime Minister, that's the voice and a request from the Kasese people. Thank you very much, Mr.
Right, Honorable
Speaker.
Prime Minister.
Right, Honorable. Right, Honorable Speaker. The water to Kasese will be provided. The President's commitment stands and we shall provide the water.
Honorable Chiboga, then Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I've been following up with the uptake of Swahili in our communities, but I realize that it has a conceptual challenge and also a perception challenge that from the war, still people perceive it that Swahili is a language for armed people. But Right Honorable Speaker, this is also very important that we use the bottom-up approach in participatory mechanisms for taking on anything new. So my people are requesting that let's begin with the national language and then we can proceed with the other language. And they are asking that we already know the widely spoken national language as Luganda. Yes. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I wanted to ask the Prime Minister, when will the process of establishing a national language start? It is a serious concern in the community.
Right, Honorable Prime Minister. When will the process of starting the national language kick off?
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I believe the member who asked this question has the answer. She has the answer. She knows why she asked the question. Honorable members, we are in the East African community. And so for our communities to trade with our sisters and brothers across the East African community, we need to have a common language. And that's why government is promoting Swahili in good faith, because we have to connect. Thank you so much.
Now, honorable colleagues, on this issue, for those who have gone for like trade negotiations, if, for example, you're with the Chinese, you reach somewhere, they switch to their language. And they plan for you, then they come back to English. Now, me, from Ankore, when I'm with my sister Huda, we can only backbite the other group in English and they are listening. But if we had indeed Swahili as our national language, and then we are able, you know, to go in the back room with Swahili, the Kenyans won't backbite us also, because now they would be having only Swahili. So, but it's really good. I was in Russia some time back, and I met a Russian who started greeting me in Swahili, speaking to me in Swahili. I got embarrassed, I didn't know anything. He said, how come you don't know the language of Africa? So if we could give it a little more effort. Zimbabwe, then Dr. Rume Baiga.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. My question to the Prime Minister is about lower local governments. What is the government plan in building a uniform constructions, especially in LC3s that are now upcoming? Uniform constructions, because different monies come to the districts and then constructions are done, yet the buildings are just not even worth the money. Just to give, just people to be sure this is a sub-county headquarter. I thank you.
Right, Honorable.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I answered that question already, but for emphasis of our colleague, the sub-counties, all the sub-counties across the country have got an approved plan. And the designs are clear. They are clear. You must have a sub-county chief office, the LCCD office, the secretary, the wall, a community wall where they can maybe have their council meetings, and one office for the local police. That is the structure. It is there already approved. Thank you so much.
Dr. Rume Baiga.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, the Prime Minister came to this Parliament and announced the executive order of the President about the retraction of the licenses and permits given to people who are felling all the trees in the National Forest Reserves. And we were very happy with that. And she was very emphatic that this is a presidential directive, so it must be complied with. When I asked her whether she has any practical measures in order to effect it. Right Honourable Speaker, I'm here to report that Kisisita, Nyimo, Nachiza, and many other forests in Buikwe are now falling down, and instead the perpetrators are planting eucalyptus and pine as plantations of their own, other than the natural forests. I want to ask again, what practical measures would you like to employ this time?
Thank you. Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, the executive order of the President, number 3, still stands. what we are going to do is to ask the Ministry of Water and Environment to go to those forests in Ibuyikwe to find out exactly what happened. And I request, Right Honorable Speaker, that my team puts this question as a written question so that I come with a more concrete answer to answer his question.
Thank you. I'd also request the Committee on Natural Resources to visit and compare notes with the Prime Minister. Butareja.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. The government of Uganda undertook a program of rehabilitating the railway stations under the program of the meter gauge railway. And the plans were to rehabilitate the route between Tororo and Kampala. Butaleja, as a district, we initially had two original routes, that's Buliro and Budumba. But apparently, after further investigations and reminders to the government, our stations were not reinstated as we speak. Our people are having to travel long distances to look for the nearest station. What plans does the government have to correct the imbalance?
Right, Honourable Prime Minister. The meter gauge railway or the standard, Honourable Member?
The meter gauge railway. The route between Tororo and Kampala.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I will ask Honorable Fred to come after me, but I thought I should give some information to the House about the standard gauge railway. We reduced the number of stations for the standard gauge railway from Tororo to Kampala to 3 from the original 30. Why? Because we think 85% of the standard meter gauge, of the standard gauge railway will be carrying cargo. And of course, we shall have just a few stations where we shall offload cargo. Industrial areas, that is Jinja, industrial area here towards Mokono and Kampala. So the meter gauge railway, the Minister for Transport is here. Honorable Fred Byamukama, you come and assist.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Through the Right Honourable Prime Minister, I note the concern raised by my colleague Honourable, but this Parliament last year passed a law, and we have the plans. Once the loan matures, we are going to work on those stations, which is talking about, but that is from Kampala, Mukono, going up to Malaria, that's for the meter gauge rail. But shall say that currently people have nowhere to pass. That line currently rehabilitated it using our simple money, and it's only restricted for international cargo, which is coming from Kenya or Tanzania. Our local people, depending on the cargo they have, we haven't given them a chance to utilize that line, but we're working on the matter, and once the loan has matured, those stations will be reinstated back as they were. Thank you very much.
Honorable Tinka.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm coming from my constituency now. And the question they are asking me, which I don't have an answer, they gave us an ambulance. And it is taking ages to be delivered to the constituency. That's Vuyaga West constituency. Every time you contact the ministry, they say, give us 2 months. We are fixing those internal equipment. Give us 2 months. Now we are clocking almost a year without the ambulance. So, can we be told when it is going to be delivered?
Honorable Minister for Health.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Right Honorable Speaker, we have been on the floor of this House. As a ministry, we explained the ambulances we received, which needed to be fitted according to specifications. And these ambulances, it is not true that they have been around for 1 year. We are fitting them, and very soon we shall deliver. Thank you so much.
Honorable Remricha.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I want to thank you, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, for the work that you're doing, especially the care you're giving us as in Toroko. Toroko, we are prone to disasters, you know. As we speak now, the entire, as they said, the entire 3 sub-counties are submerged. But the Right Honorable Prime Minister, we raised the issue of land. You promised to buy land and locate people in Kanara sub-county. And I never raised that issue here with you on 23rd. And 29th November last year, I also wrote to your office. And you promised, because you said you're going to buy land for Kasese and Intoroko, but Kasese land was bought and Intoroko was left out. But our people are living in a terrible situation. The Right Honorable Prime Minister, when are we getting this land so that our people live as human beings? I thank you.
Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, the Honorable from Montoroko is aware that we held several meetings. You know, I have been to their area many times. And the purpose was for us to look for a lasting solution for people to leave those water-lodged areas and get land. So the president was like, can we get land and buy it for the people? We struggle to get land. What is next is Semliki National Park. Gazetting a national park is constitutional. You know what I am talking about. Then we agreed that you look for people who have land, which is not in the water. Because they showed us land that submerged after a few months. I want you to remember that land of that Mularo man. It submerged after a few months. So we are still waiting for the district to look for land so that government can pay that land.
Thank you. Right Honorable, you can share with Honorable Remrisha. I saw as if he had some. Mbarara, Honorable Magora.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, during the recess that were given by Parliament, I visited schools, secondary schools in my district. And one thing that caught my attention was the firewood that is used in those schools to cook for meals for the students. I looked at the pile of firewood in those schools and the lorries that were off-roading the firewood. And on my personal analysis, I realized that almost every student on a daily basis destroy a tree. I'm wondering what government is planning for these schools in the wake of restoring the environment and looking at the climate change. I'm thinking of Ministry of Energy coming out with fixed energy saving stoves in these schools as a short term, and also asking the Prime Minister of the plan, of a long-term plan, maybe thinking of providing gas.
Sorry. Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, the member has an answer. Government has a long-term plan of switching to renewable energy. And of course, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development has already informed this parliament of these plans? The answer is switching to renewable energy. That is all.
Honorable Rachel Magora.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I'd like to ask the Prime Minister.
Procedure.
Right, Honorable Speaker, protect me from the angered Prime Minister. I take seriously the management of time as you guided. As my sister was talking about biogas, I wanted to give information about our travel to northern Uganda and what we witnessed, the destruction of the environment. We are gifted that in the West, we have cows that give, just a minute, please.
But Honorable,
Yes.
what is the procedure about
The procedure issue, the procedure issue which I'm bringing, and this is a very serious national matter. We are gifted in the West to have cows that give us raw materials. The Prime Minister has given a cosmetic answer. Is it not procedurally right that you guide her to come with a comprehensive plan with budgetary attachments? Because if we have those natural resources and the government injects money, we can be able to produce biogas in that sub-region.
Okay. Now,
because it is not enough for the Prime Minister to say, we are working on it.
Yes, Honorable, this is the difference between questions for oral answer
Correct.
and questions for written answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Because questions for written answer are more structured and the answers are more structured and more researched. Because she also needs technical input. For example, budget. She would need to know the cost of this. So a member, instead of asking such a question for an oral answer, should write so that they have a structured answer.
The reason you see me standing as you guide, Mr. Speaker, is that my understanding, it is now your duty, and that's why you require us to ask you before, that these members are guided to ask those questions in a structured way, such that we can have a solution. Otherwise, we would be wasting time. If the Prime Minister is ambushed, she gives a cosmetic answer, and we walk away. We would not be helping the country.
Honorable colleagues, you've taken note. I've been talking about this over time. I have had, by the way, I've had situations where members are annoyed with me. They come to office, I guide, and the member, no, I want to be on a microphone. The other side, the Prime Minister reads. But I want to be, I said, but the answer you're getting here, member says, yes, me, I want to be on the microphone. So more interested in the question than the answer. Okay? But I'm not meaning Honorable Rebiambu. She never came to me and we discussed it that way. Someone might say she came and I told her, but I am telling you what I go through. Members come. There is a member who even told me openly. He said, no. Me, I want that video. It will go to the constituency. Hey, yes. And the member said, me, there is evidence on me submitting on this issue. It will go to the constituency. And people will know I raised it. Whether an answer came or not, me, I raised it. So that's a challenge I go through. Honorable Rachel Magos. We have only 2 minutes left. So
I have a concern that has come to my knowledge, that the integrated finance management system is being messed with. In my district, some officers have been overpaying themselves by millions, several months getting salaries that are 10 times what they're supposed to get. I'm wondering, what can we do that this is sorted out? I'm glad the finance minister is here as well. It might be happening in other districts where officers have paid themselves 10 times more than their salary, and it was found out like 3-4 months later. So the systems that we are supposed to be using to sort out as checks and balances, there is a problem. Prime Minister, Madam.
Thank you. Right, Honorable.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, to me that is corruption, it's fraud, and the relevant laws will be followed to make sure that those people are apprehended and also refund the money they have stolen. That is sagare, which we cannot, which is not acceptable. So I direct the Minister of Finance to make sure that they get in touch with the member and also make sure that these culprits are arrested.
Honorable Angura.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Prime Minister, you talked of medical services here and health centers. 4 years ago, government started upgrading Malabar Health Center 3 to 4. 4 years ago. They only constructed 2 buildings and it is stopped. For the last 3 years, we have not had any works going on. And yet that is the face of any epidemics that come and other sensitive control points as far as disease is concerned. When shall we see the full upgrade of Malabar Health Center 4, which is so strategic because it serves not only Uganda but also cross-border movement persons and also people from across the other side. It should not be considered among the batches that are moving slowly. When shall we have this completed?
Honourable Minister for Health.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, Honourable colleagues, I want to thank the Right Honourable Prime Minister on comprehensively responding to the issue of upgrade of health center facilities with the figures, with whatever we have constructed and what is pending. And I'm sure among what the Right Honourable Speaker mentioned, the same facility is among. With availability of funds, we shall have to work on that facility. I thank you.
Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to make very brief comments. Mr. Speaker, much as you encourage members to make written questions rather than oral for answer questions, the responses by the Right Honourable Prime Minister are too verbose. She uses a lot more words than the words that are needed for a given response. I have seen this particularly in the question raised by the Honourable Olanya Andrew about malaria. The exposition is impressive, but the response should have opened the war on the mosquito. What I know about the multinationals, they wouldn't want a country like Uganda to kill the mosquito once and for all. There is a serious war, and I expected this government to open a war, an assault on the multinationals that wouldn't want the mosquito to be killed, because we will not be the first country where the mosquito has been decimated, I mean to say. The Speaker, other countries have used vaccines. There was even an offer, I don't know what happened, in 2022, of 3 million doses of the vaccine, anti-malaria vaccine by the World Health Organization. They were supposed to kickstart the planned immunization then, but there is silence, and I suppose maybe it has had a natural death. I expected your response, therefore, to focus on those two. When will there be, you have talked of malaria elimination strategy. Why couldn't this strategy adopt a war against the mosquito? And maybe you also could make Magola as a pharmaceutical which is developing vaccines. We have scientists maybe who could conduct aggressive research on developing a vaccine that would nip this parasite in the bud. Mr. Speaker, if you follow the Commonwealth tradition, practice, and the norms, the Prime Minister's time has the answers which are concise, precise, and to the point, not beating about the bush or being verbose using more words than needed. What has actually does dilute the very essence. Mr. Speaker, you protect me from the Prime Minister. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the Minister State Works and Transport, on the response he made on the meter gauge railway has flabbergasted me, Mr. Speaker, sir. Because if it is a preserve of only foreigners, then the spirit of Bubu, buy Uganda, build Uganda, is killed. Because the spirit, oh yes, but you have marked resemblances. The Honorable Minister, if we were to build Uganda, through the Speaker, we ought to encourage our own local traders to also have access to the meter gauge railway, but that it should be a preserve of foreigners. It also defeats the logic behind local content, promoting local content. And I would pray that something is drastically done to address that challenge. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable colleagues, I encouraged you, I remember some time back, that like you go on YouTube, you watch Britain's Prime Minister's time. You know, I remember the one which we had in tennis parliament and previous parliament, where you would stand up, you shoot, you ask questions. You're the ones, members are the ones who complained about it. And then rules were amended to bring these structured answers. Because that time you are complaining on the quality of answers you are getting. Someone comes up with a question which you see that however brilliant you are, you need to go back and you consult the technical people. And you expect the Prime Minister to respond in 1 minute. So that's why we had a mix. Now we have a mix of these structured, and then we have a mix of these which are for oral. And we usually try to push, really we push harder and take more and more questions. So we shall keep improving day after day. Next item.
Item 8, motion for a resolution of Parliament to approve the addendum to the proposal for China Chiking International Construction Corporation, Uganda Limited, to finance the reconstruction of Masaka Mutukula Road and rehabilitation of Nyendo Villa Maria, upgrading access road to Uganda People's Defense Forces Barracks in Masaka, access road Masaka Industrial Park, and the upgrade for the Chikagata Kafuza Road.
Now, Minister for Finance.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Article 159 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda 1995 and Sections 36 and 23 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 as amended, and Rule 155 of the Parliamentary Rules of Procedure, I beg to move a motion for a resolution of Parliament to approve the addendum to the proposal for China Ching International Construction Corporation, Uganda Limited, for pre-financing the reconstruction of Masaka Mutukula Road and rehabilitation of Nyandovira Maria Road and upgrading of the 3.5 kilometers access road to Uganda People's Defense Forces Barracks in Masaka and access road to Masaka Industrial Park, and the additional scope of 28.5 kilometers for the upgrading of the Chikagati Kafunzo Road. I beg to move.
Is the motion seconded? Honorable Anifa, Honorable Remuricha. Honorable Isingoma. No, really, on seconding a motion procedure. That's, no. That one you can propose it later. Yes, UPDF or UPDF MPs, Honorable Magezi, Honorable Mona, Minister for Works, Honorable Herbert Tayewa, Honorable Milton Muma, Honorable Pachuto, Honorable Choma, Honorable Tom Bright, Honorable Nyakorach, Honorable Kwaringa. Yes, yes, Chotera, yes, and Honorable Sewungu. Honorable Minister, would you love to just give a brief question to the motion?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Before we put a question, Honorable, you can bring your amendment. Okay? No, during debate, before we make a resolution, okay? You can make an amendment. You can propose an amendment.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are proposing to introduce an addendum to the motion which Parliament approved earlier to include an additional cost of Uganda shillings 64 billion 779 million and 400 shillings 239 to cater for the Sinosure insurance component, which was initially not included in the cost estimates for the reconstruction of the Masaka Mutukula and Nyandovira Maria and other branches which I stated earlier. What is the justification for our proposal, Right Honorable Speaker? The justification is that the costs government incurs while borrowing money commercially include commitment fees, interest on money borrowed, insurance fees, arrangement fees, and a margin. For this specific pre-financing, the contractor has clarified that they will borrow the funds and pay all other costs except the insurance. Honorable colleagues, Sinosure insurance fee component is a requirement for all equity and debt investments made by Chinese enterprises in projects outside China, with the aim that in the event that the government faces difficulties with payments, Sinosure will have the obligation of ensuring that the contractor is availed with the funds to continue with the execution of the project up to the point of completion without any interruption. Paying the Sinosure insurance component is advantageous because it will guarantee a constant flow of funds to the contractor to undertake and complete the project without any interruptions. Mr. Speaker, in the interest of time, we presented this proposal to the Committee on National Economy, and the Committee on National Economy has done a very good analysis. I beg your indulgence that in the interest of time, we allow the committee to present the report, and then I will come back to to clarify if there are a few things the members would wish me to clarify. Thank you.
Yes, one of some procedure.
Mr. Speaker, sir, whereas I'm a beneficiary still of Villa Maria, Nyendo Villa Maria, but in this on this very floor when they brought this loan, I raised issues on that road of why not including Villa Nyendo, Villa Maria, Chamliwa, Kabula Soke. And the reasons I gave here were that people, when Katonga broke, people were driving 228 kilometers from Kampala to Masaka through Sembabule. Yet, when you drive from Kampala through Kalungu, from Nyendo to Kabula Soke, it is 48 kilometers. People were going an extra 60 kilometers because of the blockage. And the shortest distance to Masaka is that road, which is part of Nyendo, Villa Maria. And I wrote a letter to the Committee of National Economy, and the Honorable God, they will bear me out because I gave that letter. So I want to know whether they have paid attention, because this road, Nyendo, Villa Maria, is tarmacked, but it broke because of the traffic which was incurred during the breakage of Katonga, Masaka.
Thank you, Honorable.
So, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, I want to know, why leave out that road, which is the shortest cut when there are challenges on Kampala, Masaka Road, which is shorter than going through Sembabule to Masaka, then in Barara. Unfortunately, we are all beneficiaries of that road.
Thank you.
Which is very key. And the
Honorable
I
Minister.
did write to you. You didn't invite me to justify. Tell me, brother Speaker.
Honorable Minister, Minister for Works. Yeah. But no,
Mr.
please. No, please. Please. Honorable colleagues, this is a procedure in rules. Okay? No, I can't allow procedure to continue this way, because the process of presenting a loan request is in our rules. Now, once you interfere with it, you are interfering with an established procedure. So let's first follow that process. If you have any issue, it comes during debate. That's how it is. Honourable Minister, just clarify that and then...
Okay, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. That matter, we received his concern and advice. We even discussed it in Cabinet. But the road is talking
Honourable
about
Minister,
it is...
here we don't use language like his, has. The Honourable Member's concern.
I apologize for that, Honourable Speaker. That road is vital. I would like to inform the honourable colleague that road, it is under another project, and if you want the details of that project, why it will be worked in, I will provide to you by tomorrow before 10. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but you see what happens, Honourable Minister, you would have prevented this by writing back to the member, when a member usually raises. But also, Honourable colleagues, and Honourable Sewungu, a road of 48 kilometers. Okay? That's a minimum of $50 million, nearly 200 billion. You can't easily vary at this stage. Yeah, you can't easily. Then number two, if you check in this report, this is a loan we already approved. What we are dealing with today is just a component of insurance. Okay? So we can't add on much from here. Article 93 limits us, Honourable colleague. So, Honourable Minister, please respond to a member, show him which project, under which project are you considering that road?
I'm in agreement, and actually, what you are saying, I'm in total agreement with you. But I said it before they went to process the loan. But if the minister is stating that they looked into my plea by that time, I pray that he doesn't bring it tomorrow because he won't. Let it be next Tuesday while here in the House. Because yes, he's making commitment.
No, I have directed the minister, the minister, Honourable Sewungu, has said he will bring it to you as a honourable member of parliament, but let him write to you. I don't need it on the floor here. Write and copy me.
Most obliged, Mr. Speaker, but one time we directed him
on the other road, he didn't appear. I remember we were here, you told me he didn't.
This
But
one
since he has
tomorrow by
accepted,
10.
we are going to talk outside and I will nag him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
So, Honorable Chair, please, Chair, this report, Chair, your report is very clear. We are on insurance. Start with 4.0. We go straight. Yeah. The
thank
whole
you very
report
much.
will be captured on the Hansard.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, before I read the report, allow me lay the report of the Committee on National Economy on the addendum to the proposal for Chico Uganda Limited to pre-finance the reconstruction of Masaka Mutukula Road, 89.5 kilometers, and rehabilitation of Nyendo Villa Maria, 11 kilometers, upgrade of 3.5 kilometers access road to the UPDF barracks in Masaka, 3.5 kilometers access road to Masaka Industrial Park, and the upgrade of 28.5 kilometers for Kikagati Kafunzo Road. I beg to lay the report and the minutes of the Committee on National Economy while processing the addendum. Right Honorable Speaker, the Minister of Finance has already given a background to this addendum. This loan was passed by this House in December 2023, and what we are handling as a committee is the addendum on the addition of the Sinosure insurance. Right Honorable Speaker, you have guided that I should begin with number 4. Number 4 is talking about the pre-financing terms and conditions. Right Honorable Speaker, 4.1 talks about pre-financing terms, and the table is there as per the screen. Right Honorable Speaker, I don't think I need to go through these figures because the table is already there and members will be in position to. Right Honorable Speaker, the addendum has a few terms that have been changed, namely the project cost and the introduction of the insurance. The project cost was reduced through negotiations from 691.68 billion to 686.22 billion. However, Sino insurance of 54 billion, which is equivalent to 8% of the total project cost, as well as VAT on that insurance of 9.8 million, have revised the total cost of the project from 691.68 billion approved by Parliament to 751.002 billion. As a share of the total project cost, the insurance cost inclusive of its VAT is 9.44%, which translates to an equivalent to 2.36% per annum cumulative over the 4 years. Right Honorable Speaker, the pre-financing contract between UNRWA and Chico has already been signed, inclusive of the insurance amount, and the condition for effectiveness have both been met, namely parties signing the contract, B, a commencement letter from the employer to the contractor. The budgetary implications. The proposed addendum increases the amount government will have to repay the contractor for pre-financing the project. This amount of money will be reflected in the national budget estimate in the 3rd financial year after the project commencement. That is in the financial year 2026-2027. Consequently, the insurance cost increases the total cost of government. The total cost government will have to pay by 64.7 billion. Depending on the exchange rate, should Uganda's currency depreciate against the US dollar, government will have to pay more than the current amount in Uganda shillings, since the contract provides that the currency breakdown for the entire project cost is to be 80% in US dollars and 20% in Uganda shillings. The economic impact of the economic analysis for for 23 years period, inclusive 3 years of construction for the Masaka-Mutukula Road section, shows that the road has an economic rate of return of 23.5%, higher than the internal rate of 12% used in the analysis. Since the economic rate of return is higher than the Uganda's economic opportunity cost of capital of 11%, it is an indication that the project is economically viable and impactful to the whole country with both indirect and direct benefits. Right Honorable Speaker, as at the end of December 2023, when we're approving this loan, the total debt stock stood at US dollars 24.69 billion, equivalent to Uganda shillings 93.3 trillion, increasing from 23.6 billion US dollars, which is equivalent to 86.75 trillion as at end of June 2023. Of the total public debt stock as at December 2023, external debt constituted 59.29%, that is US dollars 14.64 billion, and Uganda shillings 55.3 trillion. While domestic debt constitutes 40.7%, Uganda's debt remains sustainable with a nominal value of public debt to GDP of 50.37% as at December 2023, compared to 47.1% as at June 2023. The approval of the pre-financing and its addendum will not be reflected on our public debt records as a borrowing. However, it will increase the medium-term financial commitment of Uganda National Roads Authority by reducing its future physical space in the medium term by the figure approved by Parliament. Observations and recommendations. Retrospective approval of the proposed addendum. The committee observed that whereas the request was submitted to Parliament in March 2024, UNRWA went ahead and committed the addendum as part of the contract with Chico, and subsequently a commencement letter was issued for the contractor to kickstart the major works in July 2024. This action contravenes Section 23 of the Public Finance Management Act, which states that no entity shall enter a multi-year commitment without the approval of Parliament. The committee was informed that the contract was signed on the 15th May 2024 to facilitate commencement of forward maintenance and road safety interventions following non-functionality of the road, which had caused public outcry. Further, the commenced activities were part of the parliamentary approval for the project obtained in December 2023. The approval of this addendum by Parliament will facilitate securing of funds for single-sure insurance to allow commencement of major works. This is because the contractor will not be allowed to pre-finance the project without the single-sure insurance. The committee therefore recommends that UNRWA should in future desist from contravening Section 23 of the Public Finance Management Act, which states that no entity shall enter into a multi-year commitment without approval of Parliament, and further ensure that future pre-financing terms for future projects are always made clear and comprehensive enough during the period in which their approval by Parliament is being thought. 8.2, they need to consider zero rate for VAT on insurance for pre-financing of government projects. The committee noted that VAT rate applied to the single-sure is 18%, higher than the 6% VAT in insurance paid in China. Upon inquiry, UNRWA informed the committee that VAT shall be paid in Uganda and not in China, hence the application of the 18%. The committee observed that since government will be the one meeting the cost of this insurance, as per the pre-finance agreement, the project cost is increased by 9.8 billion, the VAT on insurance as observed in Table 1. The committee recommends that going forward, government considers providing a zero rate on VAT on insurance for pre-financing government projects in order to reduce the project cost in pre-financed projects. The need for pre-financing regulatory framework. The committee observed that while UNRWA has undertaken some projects using the pre-financing model, the regulatory framework to guide the entire process is not in place. The committee is concerned that in the absence of a clear guidelines on the pre-financing, any entity of government planning to use the model may adopt its own criteria, leading to inefficient public expenditure and reduction of the physical space of individual vote levels. The committee recommends that government, through Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, develops a regulatory framework to guide pre-financing of government projects to ensure that the ministries, departments and agencies remain with the physical space to implement government programs and projects. The coverage of Sinosure insurance. The committee notes that the insurance is applied to 100% of the project cost, yet 40% of the project cost is supposed to be paid by government of Uganda. UNRWA informed the committee that although the contract will be pre-financed up to 60%, Sinosure will cover 100% of the contract price, such that in case of any delays or failure to pay the government of Uganda in fulfilling its contractual financial obligations, the contractor will continue undertaking works to completion as they wait for payment. The committee was further informed that the contractor confirmed that if government of Uganda was willing to provide all the required funds for financing this project during the period of its implementation, the contractor was willing to remove the cost of insurance from the contract and undertake the works as the project cost, excluding insurance. However, since there were no guaranteed sources of funding for this project during its implementation period, given its strategic economic importance to the country, a commitment was made to include the insurance at 100% of the project cost. The committee had discussed with Honorable Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development and got assurance that government will prioritize payment of the contractor after the 2 years grace period. With this assurance, the committee is confident that government will finance the 40% of the project cost in time to avoid delays in project implementation. Since debt is a service given a priority in the available resource envelope, this means that insurance will only be on 60% of the project cost, which the contractor will borrow. The committee therefore recommends that UNRWA renegotiates the contract with Chico with a view of reducing the insurance cost by 40%, thus reducing the cost of insurance on VAT, insurance cost, inclusive of VAT, from 64,779,400,239 shillings to 38,867,640,443. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker, subject to the observation and recommendations therein, the committee recommended approval of an additional 38,867,640 640,143 to cater for the Sinosure insurance component, which was initially not included in the cost estimate for pre-financing and pre-financing the reconstruction of Masaka Mutukula Road, 89.5 kilometers, rehabilitation of Nyendo Maria Villa, 11 kilometers, upgrade of 3.5 kilometers of access road to Uganda People's Defense Forces barracks in Masaka, upgrade of 3.5 kilometer access road to Masaka Industrial Park, and the upgrade of 28.5 kilometers for Kikagati Kafuzo Road. I beg to submit. Right Honorable.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, there is a Honorable colleague who has said there is a minority report. Okay?
Right Honorable Speaker.
I'm told it's being uploaded. Honorable, do you have a signed copy which you can read?